Okay, I'll put this one. I see like the bright green light, and I see you open the door. This is like the northern lights that I see right straight away. And I feel like you were behind the lights. And then I walked around from the right and I see the door and you open the door. But you're like dressed in this dress. It's blue and it's flowy and it's got the blue oval right in the center. But it's like, imagine it's like a bright blue. Like not light, but kind of darkish blue. You got this long hair, long arms, long legs. Because I can totally see through the outfit. And you're saying that you're inviting me to your place. And I see like a fireplace with like two sofas on the side. And I'm asking you like, why so much furniture? Why did you create this in your energy sphere? And you say because the visitors come sometimes. And I'm asking you who are the visitors? And you say wise man coalition. And what are they coming from? And you say Arcturus, Arctur. They're coming from there. And they bring me the information and we exchange through interface. And we have interesting conversations, long ones here because I want to distract myself from the 56 lives I've had on Earth. And this is like a scenario that somebody wrote for me, and I would relive this scenario over and over. And because it was on repeat, I figured that one out. And I can also show that I've been a doctor in Switzerland once. I've been also helping out young women. I'm trying to see what it is. There are different cities going on. Warsaw, then one, it's something German. It's like a village nearby Berlin because I see Germany clearly. And that life is when you travel and you help to fight for the rights of the mothers of the women. And that's a life in the 50s towards 60, like 59, something like this. Because I also see you in interesting that one life. It basically every life starts up with you. You know what? Let's do the other way. Let's go all the way back. How before your first incarnation. So you're an Arcturian, and you're saying that you bring peace, and it's always been about peaceful existence of humans, if you can call them, with humans with different features. That's what you're saying. Because this universe belongs to humans. what happened here is some species came because it was young and the doors were open, and we welcomed whoever it is came in the beginning, which originally they were nice, those reptilians. And you're also showing me, oh, how interesting. You were actually educating almost like reptilians beings who came. We think they originated here, but they actually came from Mother Universe, where lizard people lived and still do. But they came here to explore, and they're very respectful of our rules. And they lived in, they actually lived all over. They lived in underground Venus, underground Mars, underground Jupiter, and underground Earth, because that's where they like to be, but then they come out, much like lizards, to get the sun energy. You're showing me some groups of those now being controlled by the negative ones who've been hybridized with Dracos. So, and hybridized and brainwashed by Dracos who came by force to this universe, and um, there was not enough awareness to stop that, as well as this tall beings was blonde and blue-eyed beings who also came with the Nazi camp, as you call them, on big spaceships, open up their portals, used up whatever they had here and turned into their dark portals to get here and to take over humanoid form, change humanoid body, and there was a big war. Who would get what? Who would install what? Uh, Anunnaki came up with the religion of their religion that were supposed to overpower the reptilian one. And their Draco reptilians are really hybrids. Most of them are. And you've seen it all. You just observe. But you also create on your planet in your 8th dimension, going to 9th. And you came here to see. But you also, there are two timelines how you came here. Like I keep seeing another one. I see you in the body of a reptilian being, but he's positive being. It's like they have a family. And that's her. She's like a reptilian woman, and she has kids. There's like literally five. There's 5 eggs, and kids come out, and it's underground Mars. And then I see those military force comes, the Nazis with all those tall whites, and then they bring they put out labs, and scientifically they start mixing DNAs of original Pleiadians with theirs, and then Greys got there too. And it's like they expand. Energetically, they knew they had to expand to push over, to take control of a human race. And there's a lot of contracts signed there. But all of a sudden, you're a prisoner. You cannot really do much on your own planet. And they used you as spying. you say it's like a spying mechanism when a lot of you positive reptilians that you actually decided to incarnate into to experience that life also in that container body, taken over as a prisoner. I see you basically in this kind of like large cages, and they separated you from the kids and from your, let's call him husband. I don't know. You just pair up, and they wanted you to incarnate in Earth because they needed to, through you, in that particular life. But this is the life number one, because I understand. And then you make your way back. So out of the 56 lives, the first one, it's this. It's pretty amazing how it happened, because they actually, what they did, you started rebellion against what they wanted to do, and you wouldn't participate in. They tried to brainwash and train the females, because females are stronger. It's like more they have more endurance, and they make better soldiers, and they knew that. So they wanted to make you into a soldier and participate in some wars on Earth. That, like World War II was a big one. That they as I understand, they inserted a lot of holograms on the battlefields, but those were actually reptilians, but with the holographic image around them to make the appearance of the bigger army or bigger threat, or um, also had some capabilities to, except they didn't really work against the human um, persistence. And what you started doing basically, you started turning for the good part and helping out the good ones, because you had the special abilities to foresee what the Nazis would do, what the next step would be at the battlefield and everywhere. And that's why, oh, that's when they punished you, because I felt there was a punishment. So basically they threw you into here for one life to test you out as a soldier, as the spy/soldier, but you turned on to the good side, and that's why they said, okay, here's your punishment. You continue the more lives here on Earth, and they planned more lives. It's like 150, I see, that they planned. So this is your punishment going to be, that you're going to be in a human body, which, you've been in different bodies before, because you just like to explore different lives. I mean, I see you being an animal on some planet, and it looks pretty big. It stands on the feet like a human form. Um, cat like the being. It looks like a panther. Like a panther is black, dark, a kind of a fur, but the face is human, and there is a lot of you walking around there.
I
And
do.
you are, mm?
Yeah, I have a very strong connection with animals.
Yeah, yeah, you're
So, in,
protectors of your place, and you can come as, what comes to me as military force, as you say, like comparing in comparison, and you can protect other animals on other developing planets, because some planets are just developing and they don't have the force to protect themselves. That's what you would do, because I see you holding some interesting devices. They almost look like arrow and bow and arrow, but they are energetic, and you say that you know how to, let's say, killer reptilian or draconian because they're the ones who would attack the other planets. You have to shoot your arrow into a certain spot that would that spot coincides of where our heart is, but in there our body is more like in the center towards the right, and you have to do that. And the neck is sensitive, uh, so I see it's almost like a hive mind planet, because some of you are watching, others are, you rest in some energy chambers created. It looks like it's like a square with round circles but cut into two halves, and one half is under the ground, another half is on top, and there is an opening. There is like a little tunnel, and you just go in there, lay down, and it's like a crystal that absorbs the energy of the blue and purple suns, because you have two suns and you have pink atmosphere, and it absorbs, let's say, I mean, we can call it during the day, but you don't have a dark nights. No, you have when the suns are kind of like go on the sides, like they go up here together and it gets bright, and they go back down here, and it gets a little kind of like now when we started the session, because it's 7 in the morning. So and you lay there for a little bit to absorb the energy of the crystal that absorbed. It's like the energy amplifier. I don't know, you replenish your energy that way. At that panther beings, but you're just like beautiful tall beings with tails and with fur, and but the front doesn't have fur and the face doesn't. It just goes like here a little bit. You have this big green eyes and very strong, muscular. You can like your speed is so crazy fast. Like I see you like you jump and you have this baobab looking trees that, and you use them as portal system to different dimensions, because you go inside the trunk and it's giant, and then I see you ding reappearing on the other planet. It's really interesting. Um, yeah, well, basically that's what they did to you, and you're saying that the problem of this universe is the DNA, the mix of the mutation of the DNA. There's not much original DNA left in anybody, but and those layers or timelines where Pleiades, Arcturians, Venetians, um, um, Syrians had different, had actually original DNA preserved. You said they're like locked in and locked out, basically. And what they did, we're opening that access now, but what they've done in the past, they locked in those original ones in their spaces, in their timelines, so they couldn't really come to the earth. They could communicate telepathically to their own parts incarnated on earth, because they were being imprisoned. The other parts from lower dimensions being imprisoned by Draco reptilians and the Alliance of Six gray races who are in close contact with those tall whites who hybridize themselves also. So basically what they did, they mixed Pleiades DNA, Arcturus DNA with grays, because that way they could control them. And that way they can send them to be channeled, to be contacted by some people on Earth. And so they can control the information that goes from them to people, and they can insert they can distort some information that they don't want to people to know, to hear. So it takes, because they knew that it takes an understanding from a person to understand that we don't really we can just get to our own essences center, like that very kind of like soul has this essence where all the information stored is like the huge database, and we can get information from there. We don't have to look outside of us for that. But at a creator point of view, which we all are, we wanted that to happen also for understanding that we are actually here doing some important job, and we're not sitting around and waiting for something. We're actually doing a lot, because when you are connected to the physical levels through the physical body that you have, you can do a lot of stuff energetically when that body is asleep. And the problem with you is they basically what they did, they took your DNA from that life of a good reptilian. They inserted 30% of the Draco DNA, and they created hybrids. There's 35 hybrids that I see, and they also try to implement, like infuse the human DNA that you have now from the physical body into those hybrids. It's like a experiment goes on. Basically, what they want to do, they want to turn all these positive species into totally negative and take them on hostage as their slaves when they leave the earth, because, as they say, contract is over. It's over. It really is. And in their perception, there's only a few days left. In our perception, it's only a few months left. So, for this to be over. But it's kind of like the what what on this timeline, as if we push the World War II, we pushed the Nazis away. We won the war. To win the war, any war, and this is a spiritual one, we have to go through some hardship to experience the sweet victory that we know we already have in our hands. But we need to experience it with the physicality of it, because that's what we are here. We are here to experience the physical. Even if we are forced to do it, we still, there's part of us who decided to actually help out, even if we've been forcefully put here as prisoners of the prison. And that's what you're doing. So what you do is, like, I see you zooming by as a bright blue light, and you're changing multiple timelines at the same time. I see you went to Arctur, like you say that, like that. And then you changed the whole system there, how they would take Arcturians, and they would take you for knowledge, because you're great builders of you are, technology. You know how to connect consciousness and technology. They stole those ideas, and they created programs, and they put programs, all those ideas in people's heads. But unfortunately, those people are controlled by them. So, and that's going to be used for in there uh, to benefit them, not much to benefit people, humanity. And you're going to change that by changing the timeline and spreading the information to others about it. And then you are, so I see you at the meeting right now that you say that the visitors come. I see those visitors, visitors from other galaxies, but there's one particular one I'm looking at. His name is Timu. He's from Lyra. He looks like a giant cat. Doesn't look like a felinoid, more like a cat being. But I also see that the whole meeting is observed by one big eye, like I see the eye on top. See who this eye is. And now I see two pairs of eyes if I'm getting closer. Um, it's a watcher. The watcher is as a tall white Nordic being, which is basically some of them are bred to become watchers and watch some certain people. So they cannot gain too much information from their own selves or to connect too much to their own higher self or to share something, or some files of information just come to them so they can put them on paper and share, things like that. It's like watched, and there is a grid system around so inside of the walls of your energy sphere, there's like a grid system of lights. It composed of green lights, are basically like threads of green light, and it forms like a grid crisscross. And that grid absorbs all the information that you talk about with those visitors. You do know them, and you always tell them telepathically, we are watched, we have to be careful what we deliver. But you're also smart enough because some of the information your interface with each other and goes from one head to another in packages and files. Um, and you cover them with some, uh, it's like a membrane, but you just do it with intention and they don't have access to it. And so your own higher self kind of leads you also. It got percentage, let me see. So it's like 47% that you're led by your own higher self. And then the rest is what they can influence. And you signed some sort of contract. I'm looking at this tall being, and I told you to call on his boss to put them all in your energy sphere. The boss is actually a draconian, very like tall draconian, probably about 9 feet tall. And he's watching he's actually controlling that group, a group of 5, I would say, of the tall Nordics who are watchers of some particular people that they need to watch. Because by nature, they're, they're curious and their consciousness grows pretty fast. So they even had to put implants into you when you were 5 years old to track you first. And it's like on the back of the head, etheric body. But then they would take it out and replace it with another one, and another one is like in the forehead because you kept taking them out by yourself. Like literally, you would know that they did something to you when you get etherically abducted by them into their lab. The lab is in Antarctica. And I see like a lab with a lot of tables and children there. And they put like chips into the limbs into the palms, into the hands, feet, heads, spinal cord, heart, stomach, things like that, that they would test out different ones because I see a lot of technology lying around almost like on trays, or some of them are in boxes that they take out of some sort of safe with like a big box on the shelf in the wall. Right now I'm looking at you. So you froze those two. And I'm looking at you. It's like they got a contract. There's some gray brought the contract. So you froze that gray too. It's a bright blue folder, and it's just it's kind of like a punishment of a prison of earth contract, because you disobeyed what you were supposed to the program that you were supposed to do here as a reptilian spy, and who could, it's like you were like a chameleon reptilian or something. You can switch to, you can shapeshift into human, and that's what that was the part of you being a spy, and you refused to do that. You were just helping human basically race to push out the Nazis uh, out and defeat them. So that contract has 200 pages. There's a lot of pages, but there's a lot of, they basically put a script of 150 lives in there. Um, and so 56 of those, you're basically 55 you lived through, 56 is now. Um, you're just like making fire on the table in a big bowl and putting the contract in. And you're saying you never agreed to it, and you never agreed to be punished. That was your free will. And free will is distorted here. And now it's their time to be punished by the laws of the universe. Because they basically tricked the laws of the universe, or the universe itself. All the universes is a big universal mind energy, to believe that they've done everything according to the rules, but they used a lot of trickery and lies to actually put us into this prison that never ends. And you're taking out little, so there's little square type implants. It's like in the here, and it's got 1, 2, 3, 7 cords going around, almost look like a sun. Oh, they all look like a sun. There's one on the back, like where kidneys are. There's one by the heart. It's actually not over the heart, but next to it. And there's one in kind of like reproductive organ, kind of like that area. But they all hooked up through the cords into those chakra shells. This is like bookshelves. That's how they look like. And so they're all connected, and they're all working towards the collection of data, information through your DNA, through your blood that contains information and runs it through all the time. And it all goes out into the, because you're connected on the back, you have this cord that is connect, it's like a system is connected to all those little implants that look like suns with 7 cords around this square, and then it goes to the back, and from the back it connects to the energy sphere, and the energy sphere has this net that absorbs the information, and the information goes to them. And I see it goes to Antarctica base where they have these computers. And I also see that a lot of small bases are cleared up, but I see that the black shield is still functioning, but they actually converting it into something they're going to be using when the ice is all melted and when the continent becomes warm as it used to be before. So it'll be like a healing center. It's like the base is converted into a healing center. But it's going to take time. It's not yet done. And so you take out this cord. I still see Nazis there. Um, but they don't have as much, they're kind of pushed out. It's almost as if there is some system installed in the universe that you can only push out those beings slowly, because you also need to um, take away their information, reprogram them through some technology. You can actually do that and things like that. And you can find out all the information from them to undo it, to undo the damage. How they did it, you have to exactly know. That's why they're still kept there. Um, yeah, you unplugged all of this, and I see you taking out those, one from the head, another one from the heart, from the lower side, and from the back kidneys. So those you're holding in your hand right now. Is it? That cording system is like hanging on your arm like this. You're opening a portal and putting it through it there. You're actually putting the furniture through the portals, throw it out too, like those 2 sofas that I saw at the table in the middle when the visitors come, because you don't want the visitors anymore. They would give you, sometimes they would give you wrong ideas or wrong perception of what is happening in the world, because they were partially controlled by that eye that was watching you from above, of that tall Nordic who is now frozen here standing. Um, and now I'm telling you that you can cleanse your DNA and your mental emotional bodies, and you just create this powerful. It's almost like a doorway, which like an arc, and that arc you put your energy into the arc, and you activate it by doing this, not touching it, but doing this, and then the energy from from you, from your energy body altogether, just concentrated into the hand and through your forehead. It activates this arc for cleansing, and you just walk through it. And I see there's a like nebula. No, it's more like, I mean, I can describe it as a cloud of gray energy that formed. It was pushed out of your emotional mental bodies that you're also putting in there into there. You actually stopped in front of the portal and you're touching the cloud. You're saying, what if I turned it into information and love and spread it out throughout the universe like a big fountain or rain from a cloud with information, what I know, they will know instantly. And that's what you're doing, kind of pushing it up through energy sphere, and I see it spreading. It's almost spreading like some sort of, like the top of the carousel. And from it there's like pores like rain, and it goes in different direction. So they can also change their timelines, and they get the information that needed for them to accomplish something. All of the friends, all of the visitors, they all get it, so they can disconnect from the control system they're at. You also go to that life that is dear to you as this reptilian being, and you change that timeline as if you were never taken over, and you just still stay as positive as well as the other families, and you just leave as you're supposed to leave for 200 years. That's what you said that you usually pick, even though you can leave up to 400 if you wanted to. And there's something about the energy exchange that the creatures like you and your families needed also for the underground, um, to be connected to the essence of the planets, on this case on Mars. So I see like it's changed there. And your DNA is 80 strands of DNA. So it's just divided by 20, 20, 20, 20. I see like two large, thick strands of light, and the light is white, bright white light, sparkling, all connected into one big strand. And you just take in some impurities out. Basically, what they did, they overlaid the codons with some other energy, as if they try to stop the connection of all the four, and they try to only leave you one, so you would be able to use only one instead of all four, so you wouldn't develop the abilities that you can develop if you had access to four of them DNA strands. So all these little tiny 80 strands that composed into four strands of four and one, you now have access to because you cleansed it for yourself. So that's changed. So, and then you went through the lives, and the lives are, they start with the same scenario, but then they run a different. Basically, he had like different professions in those because he wanted to explore different things. But mostly was connected to nature exploration and ecosystem changing, um, being, it's kind of like working in those big national parks and preserving the ecosystem of animals and plants and talking to them telepathically and things like that. I see you've been doing that a lot too. So you changed a lot on those lives. But the one that I see you, like living in Finland, and you, Finland and Iceland, there's two that you really liked and enjoy. because you're living in the woods and you enjoyed those lives. Even though they would take your energy, the 48% of 250 of energy they would take through that, all the stuff that you like throughout, that the chakra plates or whatever they are, and those little inserts, the implants and cords, and it was all just taking your life energy for them. So you open like a huge portal right now to finish up all this cleansing, and you just put this, all of them, including the gray who brought you contract, into the portal. So they go in and you close the door. And now your energy sphere is clean and you're clean.
Nice.
So you can ask questions.
Yes, I have a question that in this life in my bed, I had a vision of three light coats. They were on my wall in my bedroom.
Light boats,
Coats.
goats.
They told me they said to me, someone said to me, because I saw them, I had my eyes open and I watched and I thought, is this real or am I dreaming? But it was real. I was sitting right up in my bed. It was in the middle of the night and I saw three circles of light in my room. And well, I don't know what it was, so I went back lying again to go to sleep. And then someone said to me, these are your light codes.
Yeah, yeah, because this is your subconscious kind of showing it to you. And what was said, it was true. Because once you start talking, like I saw, it's not any aliens or any projections, fake ones. It's actually coming right from you. It's kind of like from your head and from your chest projecting,
Okay.
because it was time to wake you up one way or the other and give you more information, because you were ready due to consciousness level to accept and believe, and all that, and you were searching for it, basically
Yes.
asking inside. um
And how do I use, is it, um, can I use the codes? Because
the mhm.
I have the urge to send the codes with love to the trees and to the world. And I don't know if that's the meaning of the codes, to work with it.
Yeah, because you had the urge to save the planets, planetary systems, galaxies, everything on them. You have this connection with, like on that planet, as this black cat, panther cat. You would talk to plants, you would talk to animals,
The
and you would
trees.
go with trees, yes, an army, basically as a large group of cats. If some planet was having problems or was being attacked, you would help them defend themselves. So those codes are for that. Because see, we're at this level of matrix when it's all about the mathematics of it, and numbers everywhere, because that's how the basic architect created it, through the formulas in numbers. So you cannot create by using numbers also. And that's why your subconscious gave you the numbers, number codes. Yeah, you can use them. That's exactly what it is for.
Mm-hmm.
And they get, through the numbers, they get better embedded into this essence that is inside, into the consciousness that is inside every plant and every animal. And it can help them out. Also progress in their consciousness and understanding what's going on with the earth and with them as inhabitants of it.
Yeah, I understand. And I have another question. When I was 18,
Mm-hmm.
very young, I was uh, in my bed, and there was very, very much energy in my body. And I was scared um, in the first time. But when I decided not to be scared, I was taken out of my body by an entity. I don't know what it was.
There was that
And
tall white.
okay, but he said me because I wanted to travel. I liked it. I wanted to travel with him, and we spoke telepathically. And and then I say to him, "Oh, this is nice to fly so with you, and so I can look into houses and things." And then he said to me, "Oh no, you are not ready for this." And he put me back in my body.
Yeah.
And or is it a dream?
Nope, it's not a dream. That's what actually happened. But that was just part of it. Because what they did, and they would replace your implants all the time to test their technology on you, as well as they do it on so many people the same way. So they take your energy body out of your physical, but he wanted it to be like a positive experience for you, so you would let him do it again, even if you didn't remember. He's done it more times, and this time he let you remember how the whole process goes. They take you out of your body, you see leaving your body, and you see going, and he kind of like sugarcoated it with, "Oh, look, we're gonna travel and talk. It's gonna be fun, you know."
Yeah.
And that part that you were in that Antarctica base when they would put like new implants in you, he erased from your memory. So
Okay. And the implants is not a good thing.
no, no, it's a tracker system, and also that's how they get information from the us and the matrix and how their programs work and what's happening here and what the reaction mental activity of humans are, because they literally have it all in their database, each consciousness level, and they watch at what point you get even to this. They twisted everything, even the kundalini as it is. They twisted it. They represented it as oh, it's a snake energy and goes on your spinal cord. No, it's not that at all. It's just that your soul activates you for, basically, that's when you're ready. And that's when you, as your soul, as your soul's essence, for yourself, create a mission to do something important here since you're stuck here. And since you're stuck here, you're going to use all the energy, put it into the, um, it's kind of like to explain. If you pull up all the energy from above onto you and you push it through your body at once as a big bright circle of light or sphere of light, that's your kundalini. It has nothing to do with reptilian, snake, whatever. It's more about activating your DNA and activating every tiny cell of your body and every molecule that you're composed of, to wake yourself up, to shake you up, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Yes, the reason that I wanted to speak with you was basically because I feel obstructed. There is a blockade.
mm,
I know I have many power and talents, and it's stuck somewhere.
yeah,
I
because they blocked those three big DNA strands. There's
yeah,
large ones, mega ones, composed of micro ones. Yeah, there's only one functioning, and that's why you felt like you're much more than who you are, but you can't really unlock it. But now you
I think
did, you cleansed it.
yes. Okay, that's nice. And I have a question about my daughter.
Mm-hmm.
Can I ask my relationship with my daughter? Because 3 months before I get pregnant, she came to me and she told me that she was coming, and she told me her name. 3 months later, I was pregnant, and I knew it was a girl, and I had only her name. I couldn't uh, project a boy, or I knew it was a girl.
Mm-hmm.
And but now in this life, we have
Good.
problems.
Disconnected, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Because she was supposed to be your leading force in your awakening, in your working together with you. And that's why this watcher of tall Nordic was basically put by that huge reptilian um, hybrid to watch you and to put disruption into this kind of idea or scenario that was formed by you and your daughter and the etheric. You agreed to help each other and to build some strong connection and do some important things together when the time comes, and they wanted to disrupt that. And that's why they were able to, because she's also connected to those Nordics. She became connected through you when she got incarnated. When she entered basically the body of a baby, she did know, she planned it all out very well. But it's not her fault that the disconnect happened, because it was artificially created by this Nordic and the reptilian in charge. Um, it's kind of like you felt very connected in the beginning when she was little, but then its split happened because they inserted this disc of programs into her head, and she became like, comes to me in mind, like indoctrinated or brainwashed or
yes,
like
I
that, by the system.
yes,
So
yes. She also had, the how do you call it? The injection.
yeah, yeah, because that was leading towards that. And this story is very close to me. The first part of it, because my youngest daughter came to my husband and told him her name, the same thing. That's when a soul carefully plans for their arrival. And the soul already knows her mission. And the idea is, it's like it has to be kept clean. That's the only way until certain time period when the person is like 18 or 20. That's when they kind of re-remember themselves mostly. Before that, they can be programmed by teachers, people they deal with, institutions they go to, things like that. At a very sensitive period. You came up to her and you are you created this ball of energy, just like a big, large, purple, glowing ball of energy, and you put all the information you know into it. And basically, what you did, with your finger, you created like a course that is going to run around your energy sphere like a spiral, and this ball is going to roll around. And you programmed it to cleanse her mind and to make her realize some things, and hopefully her soul can break through the barrier of AI in her and infuse this idea, slowly kind of break through and start talking to her rational mind and breaking the programs. That's you're saying that's the best thing you could do
Yeah.
at this point.
Okay. And what I don't understand very well is the connection with the Nazi. You see many Nazi.
Yeah,
Uh,
it's because they were part of this group, of this force that took over the universe. And you're very wise old soul in this universe. We had many lives on Arcturus constellation, and that's why you've seen it all, and you've been thrown into this World War II, which that is like it popped up that life right away when you were supposed to be a spy on the humans who were opposing this dictatorship, this torture coming from this Nazi group. Um, but you were like a reptilian who could shapeshift for long periods of time in a human body. And that's from where it comes, because also Nordics are working with the Nazi group. They're part of it. There's like
and
Aryan group and
because I am born in 1956.
yeah, but you have the lives. You have one life in the World War II. That
Yeah.
was before the 50-56
Yes. Yes. Yes.
in
Yes. That's what I
1956.
want to know because when now the this happens from day one when they locked down the whole world, I knew there was something wrong. I didn't know what, but I knew this is bad case scenario. This is not okay. And
Right,
I became a warrior again.
exactly. Because
Yeah.
that's your own inner self, like that too. Like you're part of the opposition, basically, of this planet, of those souls who came here to oppose of this world. It's already colonized, but you're opposed of the enclosed colony, enclosed colonization of the world, which would become, each country would be like you know concentration camp type thing.
Yeah.
Um, and that's in you, and that's evoked memories of that life also, and how you've been put here as an on a prison planet, and how you as a prisoner want to rebellion because it was
Yeah.
all unfair, you've been used,
Yeah.
and yeah, your race was used and abused, and it's kind of like it's a pattern here, isn't it? Was in everybody's life.
Yeah.
So
Now I understand better. Yes.
mhm,
And I have another question about a relationship I had. I ended it in March this year with an Italian man,
mhm,
and he was very dark. I don't know if my intuition is good. I think he's dark. Can you see something?
Yeah, I see some snout. You know what I see? I see like a crocodile, but it's a hybrid of something else too because it's got like little horns and he's standing behind him and he was controlling his mind because his head was literally on top of his head. And it's almost like, like those cards. You see one
Hmm.
face, but then you see the other. Like I see his face, but then I see the face of that horny kind of like crocodile type reptiloid.
Yeah,
Um, so he could be like, he could have this mask of a nice man, but then he could switch like quickly to that
exactly.
reptilian.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. So it is good to end this relation.
Yeah, yeah, it was
Yeah.
good. Yeah. Hmm.
Yeah. Okay. I think I know much more now.
Mm-hmm.
And do you think I always wanted to be not to help people really, but with art?
It was
I'm
art.
Yes, I am a musician, and I want I like to paint and draw, but I don't do. It's the blockade also.
Yeah, it was a blockage from the DNA always
Yeah,
goes leads me to that direction.
yeah.
Because you're a wise soul, you know how energies work and how to put the right energies or codes, whatever you can call them. It's a pattern of energy. That's what it is. But physically, they show up as codes. You can put it into anything you create, and music actually helped you survive this prison break, whatever it's called. I don't know. That's what you said.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. I know it. I know a lot, and I never trusted it. My
Mhm.
intuition. It's now from maybe 5 years that I realize who I am. So this is a wonderful conversation. Thank
Mhm.
you.
Thanks. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, disconnect. Okay, let me stop the recording.